square meals, it is a miracle in this country. Except you are an apparatchik of this government or part of the looting brigade. Okay, there is no way you will say that there is a bright future in this country.
Right. I believe that the Ghana Armed Forces and the Ghana Police Service put together, if you give them 3 months to end Galamsey and you resource them, and there is no political intervention from anywhere, they will end Galamsey.
It would be unfair to expect that President Mahama in 96 days will fix the rot of 8 years.
I don't have a Ghana card. If tomorrow I decide I want to do a Ghana card, it is my Ghanaian passport I will take to the NIA.
You don't have a Ghana card?
No, I don't. And I've not registered my SIM card.
You're not registered?
No. And that's why I said I was waiting to see how on the 1st of April my card would be deactivated. I wanted to see how that would have happened in this country. Because you see, it makes absolutely no sense for you to see Article 296 of the Constitution.
All right.
Okay. All right. Okay.
Last one. Randy. We need to clean this country. This country needs. Look, the young people of our country are angry. 1, we need to clean. 2, we need to recover every single thing that has been stolen. Look, and those people who think that they are, and I can tell you on authority, I said this yesterday on another platform where I was with Honorable Andy Apiakubi. We know those who are moving money out of the country.
People are moving money out of the country.
Moving money to the Isle of Man. I'm stating locations. Isle of Man, to Mauritius, to the Canary Islands, to Guyana.
Hey, Guyana.
We know them, and they are moving money. Look, even last week, one of them called a remittance person and said, look, a person who does remittances, look, I need to move 5 million. How can you move it? US dollars. Yes. Look, you can't live to enjoy that money.
Operation Recover.
You will not enjoy that money. And I'm glad that, you see, people said they don't know what came over President Mahama when he came to my constituency during his nationwide tour. When he came to my constituency, that day, he dropped a lot of bombs. That's the day he told Baumia he won't debate him because he knows his level. Yeah. That same day, for the first time, and that was the only time in 276 constituencies, President Mahama mentioned names of people who have questions to answer. Let your crew take the tape. He did 3 places in my constituency. He did Ningo, did Pram Pram, and Aviation. Your crew was there. They should give you the clip from Pram Pram. You will hear President Mahama. He said, President Akufo-Addo, for 8 years, I have been a former president. I lived in Ghana. I didn't live outside the country. So if there was any prosecution or any questions you had to ask of me, I was here. Yeah. You will not go and live in the south of France.
Thank you.
That mansion that has been built in the south of France will remain uninhabited. President Akufo-Addo must stay in Ghana to answer questions. President Mahama went ahead to mention Gabriel Tridaku as someone who needs to answer questions.
Absolutely.
Mention Ken Ofori-Atta as someone who needs to answer questions. Mention the one who suffered stroke in the UN. Yes. I said, take the clip from my constituency, Pram Pram, and play it. Let your production go to President Mahama's visit to Pram Pram, to my constituency. Not the first location in Ningo, the second place in Pram Pram. When it was raining, he mentioned the names. These people have questions, and not just them. Others will have questions to answer. You ask yourself, why today the board chairman of ECG, who doubles as the leader of the mini minority in parliament, is seeking to pay a company of almost 270 million Ghana cedis in this last minute?
Well, the information minister says works have been done and certain financial clearance has been given.
The rates are too high.
And so they have to honor the payments. It is not because there's been a change in government.
Those payments have been pending for months. They didn't pay. They want to pay today. Look, if you understand the level of graft and rot, that's why I said others have dipped their hands in the purse. This government has stolen the purse, and it must be a collective work across the nation, civil society, other political movements, and government. We must clean up our country.
The people of Ghana want to hear what your view is on the LGBTQ bill that is before you. Say something and sign it. Mr. President, you are beginning to appear as a supporter of LGBTQ. The people of Ghana and the people of Ningo Pram Pram do not want it. So President Akufo-Addo, it has been 8 months since Parliament passed the legislation. Sign it or tell the people what your stance is on LGBTQ.
President Mahama has been clear that he will sign that bill, and he has no option than to sign that bill. President Mahama will know no peace from St. George until he signs that bill. And he himself has said that to the clergy, that as a Christian, as a member of the Assemblies of God Church, he will sign that bill. What the president said to the BBC was in response to why President Akufo-Addo has not signed the bill. And he said to them, look, what you, President Akufo-Addo, should have done, instead of rejecting service of the bill, was to have received the bill, stated what his displeasure is with the bill, which is what the Constitution says. The Constitution in Article 1067, President Mahama, in his response to the BBC, was referring to the Constitution of Ghana. Article 1067 says that when he gets to the president, he must within 14 days indicate whether he would sign or not sign. If he chooses not to sign, he then has to bring it back to Parliament and then state in the memo to Parliament the reasons why he's refusing to sign and add the recommendations to remedy those challenges he sees. Otherwise, within the 14 days, he can refer it within 30 days. He can refer it to the Council of State, who have 30 days to give him advice. That's what President Mahama was saying in that BBC interview. He was not saying that he now has to read the bill. President Mahama has read the bill. It's because he's read the bill that he told the clergy that when he becomes president, he will sign the bill, because President Mahama has no problem with anything in the bill. That explanation he was given was basically what the president should have done as a lawyer in line with our constitution, because the president's decision not to have service of the bill on him is unconstitutional and shows you how reckless and irresponsible Akufo-Addo is as a president.
Oh, she's been sent home. Since 10th of November, she's been sacked from the Highways Authority. And I would wage a campaign and a war to ensure that this woman is reinstated, because these are the kind of Ghanaians we must celebrate. In fact, she reported to the BNI in June this year, that her life is under risk because she was told that she must not exceed 1 million again. And when she was given that order, she started getting 3 million. And now they sacked her. The BNI could not protect her under Akufo-Addo. I'm talking about 2024. I have the names of the people who were behind this. But you see, like I said, Operation Recover All Loot, Oral, will come after all of them. From the people at Highways Authority who are involved in the scam and the stealing of axle load. So imagine if you had 10 axle weighing stations across the country, and they are making revenue of at least 3 million Ghana cedis in one station, and they are declaring 250,000 every month. Some people are sitting back and gleaning 2.5 million, 2.75 million from one axle station. Over 10 axle stations, that's 27.5 million Ghana cedis every month. This is what we are bleeding as a country. So when Akufo-Addo said Ghana yenye hiya mine, it's true. Yenye hiya mine. But we have people who have turned themselves into Draculas, drinking the blood and toil of Ghanaians. This is pure fact. The lady came to me, she was crying yesterday. Crying. She said, look, my life is at risk. She can't live in her house. They are threatening to kill her. A woman. Even now. She's
been laid off.
Yes. So you see, this is the weight of cleanup that John Mahama has to do. And that is why you cannot entertain such thievery and such corruption under the next Mahama administration.
It is clear that President Akufo-Addo is part of the pro-LGBTQ cabal.
What has he done?
I'll tell you. President Akufo-Addo is the one who granted an international interview and said to people, if you have enough advocacy in Ghana, you can then have LGBTQ in Ghana. A year later, they came and opened an advocacy office. When President Akufo-Addo's father sent him to Oxford, he stayed with his cousin, the son of J.B. Dankwa, called Paul Dankwa. Today, there is a book that celebrates the 100 leading figures of LGBTQ and homosexuality in the world. Paul Dankwa is in there as one of those who is celebrated. In fact, the only Ghanaian who is celebrated. As we speak today, Paul Dankwa is buried by his gay lover, Akufo-Addo's cousin, is buried by his gay lover, a British man, in Morocco. It was in his will that he wants to be buried next to his gay lover. That is the person Akufo-Addo stayed with in Oxford, when he went to Oxford. It is for these reasons that President Akufo-Addo, when Kamala Harris came to Ghana in February this year and asked him about the bill, he like Pontius Pilate, he washed his hands and said, I know nothing about the bill. It is some MPB. Thankfully, Kamala Harris has been sacked from the US with her LGBTQ. And President Akufo-Addo and Bawumia, who are afraid to speak on LGBTQ and take a position and take that stance have contracted the Chief Justice to use the courts to delay the approval
it is public
or passing of that law.
Dr. Bawumia has publicly said that he doesn't support LGBTQ.
Has he criticized President Akufo-Addo for not signing the bill?
But the president is president.
The
president says the communication coming out of the president's office is that they have taken executive notice of actions before Ghana's court. As a result of that, they want those to be addressed before.
Did the same Akufo-Addo not take notice of actions that are still pending on e-levy, yet went ahead to sign it? It tells you that Akufo-Addo cannot be stopped by a court case when he wants to. But this one, Akufo-Addo is the one who sent Amanda Odoy and Richard Sky to court. Because Akufo-Addo wrote to Parliament on the 4th of March telling us that there was a court case before the courts of Ghana. The court case only went to court on the 5th of March. How did the president know a day before that there was a court case going to court? We all know the relationship between Richard Sky and the current majority leader, Afenyo Makin. So look, let me tell you, the Chief Justice herself is today acting as a cog in the wheel of justice. But like I've said to them, Mahama is a flag bearer. He has stated emphatically, the bill is my bill, keep quiet. He has stated emphatically.
Please wrap up.
It's not your bill.
He has stated
on behalf of Ghana.
He has stated emphatically.
Correct that statement.
On behalf of Ghanaians minus Akufo-Addo and Bawumia. Because they are against the bill.
Please conclude for me so that I can go to Gusu.
In fact, they changed Chairman Sam. Let me tell you something. Part of the reason why Chairman Sam Bonsu, let me say it today. Part of the reason why they kicked Chairman Sam Bonsu out as majority leader was because Chairman Sam Bonsu supported me to pass the bill. I'm telling you.
Chairman Bonsu told you that?
I'm telling you, we're in Parliament. You know what's going on in Parliament. Because the president came to Parliament on the 26th of February. Look, and I'm giving you dates. 26th of February. And when he came, when he met leadership, he pleaded with them not to pass the bill. And 2 days later, we showed him that we are not a rubber stamp parliament. We passed the bill. And because Che Mensah was instrumental, Che stood on his feet for 2 days, 8 hours each day to help us pass that bill. They kicked him out.
So now the case will be called, we have 18th, right?
The Chief Justice is trying to delay for Akufo-Addo to leave so he doesn't sign. Our children and their children will remember Akufo-Addo as the man who lied to God that he will build him a cathedral. Meanwhile, he loves gay people and is supporting homosexuality and is against our culture. That is Akufo-Addo's track record.
And I'm sure you've heard this before, that the consequences of this position could outlive this administration. And if, for instance, the NDC should win power in 2024, this election, you probably going to be bearing the consequence of some of the decisions that may be taken because of your stance.
Let me state this here and now and end this conversation once and for all. This is not a political issue. It's about my children.
It has political.
No.
Wait,
no. The suggestion is that
legal,
I should think about John Mahama, by God's grace, will be the president in 2025. John Mahama has at least on 4 public occasions stated that he does not believe in rights for LGBTQ, or he does not believe in LGBTQ rights as a universal right, and that our society is, the Ghanaian people are against it. As a leader, I would expect him to walk his talk as president of Ghana in 2025.
You expect him to walk his talk?
Absolutely. I mean, and I would demand same of him. The same way I'm demanding of President Akufo-Addo, I would demand same of him. That legislation will stand. I would oppose any decision by a future NDC government to say they are going to walk back this act. I will fight it. Because, like I said, it's about our cultural heritage and the innocence of my children and Ghanaian children. And the innocence of my children will not be mortgaged for any political party. And like I said, President Mahama on his own has spoken. We've not heard from Dr. Bawumia, so I can't say what his position is. But I've heard, and that's why a lot of people are holding President Akufo-Addo to his word. President Akufo-Addo has spoken at the Anglican Church, where he said it will not happen under his watch. So people are expecting you to walk your talk. Leadership is about walking your talk.
The concerns about the financial implications.
Yes.
I want to go back to that conversation because a lot of people are asking here, and they say, look, how else can we survive if we decide that we say, okay, we are going ahead with this, where else do we go? Because we are flat on our stomachs.
Johnny, there are two responses to this.
Right.
Uganda's economy is smaller than Ghana's economy.
Right.
Way smaller. Uganda had a president for all his wrongs. The one right thing you can say about M27, Yoweri Museveni, is very simple. He thinks that this is a mental aberration, which it is, and has gone ahead to sign a very punitive law. In fact, Uganda's law will punish you with death. Death.
Yes.
Ours is talking 3 years maximum. Day is death. There have been all of this back and forth and bashing from all the other places. The EIU projects Uganda's economy to be the 8th fastest growing economy in Africa in 2024. That's Uganda's economy. Uganda is preparing to float a euro bond. So what has happened to Uganda? You have countries like Kenya, who are in the process. In fact, the Kenyan MP, George Kaluma, reached out to me for a copy of the bill in Ghana.
Okay, so they can learn from it and see.
He took our bill and just changed the Ghana and put Kenya.
Finish.
Yes. And that's what is in Kenya. And that's what Kenya has passed.
Kenya has passed it.
Oh, yes.
Of course.
Yes.
Our law. Our bill.
Our bill. Take the Kenyan law and take Ghana's bill and see what it is.
So if others are learning from us,
and Kenya has gone ahead and is getting disbursements from the same IMF. Kenya is in an IMF program. So those who claim that all of a sudden our economy will collapse, first and foremost, the evidence shows that it is not true. Ghana's economy is not worth $700 million a year. Because $3.8 million over 5 years is what? $700 million.
That's right.
So the question we should ask ourselves, Johnny, is even how are we in this mess?
March is Colorectal Cancer Awareness Month.
Have you attained 45 years and older? Notice blood in your stool, a family history of cancer? Then don't wait to have a colonoscopy. Early detection of cancer and effective treatment save lives.
There are weak points in the development and spread of cancers of the large bowel that we have control over to stop, to reduce the incidence and deaths from these cancers. Achieving this success depends on you and me. We are fully prepared. What about you?
Visit Mintuba Hospital and Coloproctology Center today or call us. Mintuba Hospital, First Ghana Colorectal Center, in to serve a peculiar health need.
Looking for comfort, convenience, and class all in one place? Welcome to Stay Easy Apartments on Conference Center, where modern living meets exceptional service. Whether you're staying for business or leisure, Stay Easy offers you a home away from home. Spacious and well-furnished apartments, pool, gym, and everything you need to relax and feel at ease. Planning a meeting, workshop, or special event? Our event ground and state-of-the-art conference center is designed to host your events and bring your vision to life. From corporate gatherings to private functions, we provide the perfect space, supported by modern equipment and a professional team ready to assist you. At Stay Easy, your comfort and success are our priority. Book your stay or reserve your space today. Call us at 020-739-1473 or 0244-226367. Stay Easy Apartments and Conference Center. Stay easy with us.
Hey, Unia, new release ni ana. Kaya gam.
Ebitino, what's me new release? Me can no access fit mu ho no. Na Tabletech Garages Limited. Akwafa besiesi amana aye nitia. Obi ase ya ka amuru no.
Accident car no na. Tabletech Garages Limited. Amana se gina ne naso sa no.
Me se wo. Wo mu akwafa broni fita engineer afira brochiraba. En wo check cars no. Na wo hunu ba bi a fault krowo. En ne ho spare parts so wo de hyehyɛ. Afena si road. Enso ɛho charges kakra bi o.
Tabletech Garages Limited.
Wo ye general servicing. Ebi ni engine overhaul overhauling, engine tuning, oven spraying, general electrical works, air condition installation work, BMU, upholstery, gearbox, make a day.
Tebutech Garages Limited.
Apart from sir, car that wotimi ato, and now our trauma one was higher importation of cars and whose spare parts. If la butreba, woko car mawa, free.
Also what you calling
Tebutech Garages Limited. La Paz Malam Road. After Baya traffic light, wah. Bibiania for 0206 48 17 and 3 and now 0542 96 11 11. Website tebotechghana.com.
Tebutech Garages Limited.
Hey, Kaya will be a benyan.
Tebutech Garages Limited.
Your car beauty and the power boosters.
In my line of work, a confident smile is everything. Kel Charcoal Toothpaste keeps me on top of my game and ensures my smile is always radiant and bright.
With the tiring nature of my job, we spend several hours under the scorching sun. To keep our teeth white and our breath fresh all the time, we use none other than Kel Charcoal Toothpaste. Kel Charcoal Toothpaste. You're on a Kessie and in a kit one.
Samayo Kendini, a who be here, Semetra Sapapadia to a mammy man for Kel Charcoal's natural ingredients, and a bomb is so by a man is swing, and a sense of Mama Hoto so a will beg you.
Kel Charcoal Toothpaste. Choose Kel Charcoal Toothpaste for anti-cavity, whiter teeth, and fresher breath all day. Available in 80 gram and 150 gram. Grab yours today.
Kel, happy smile. This advert is FDA approved.
Hey buddy, it's me Azar.
Yeah, me now they see. Hey, you don't look fresh. Oh.
Hey.
With your label today.
Wait till you see what's inside me.
Azar, freshly made inside and out for greater coverage and colors that last longer and beautify your walls, spaces and places. Azar, no size. Go ahead. Buy now. Azar, #1 from Azar Group since 1921.
Yes, next. Hey, Nadia Benson,
me didn't tum. Monsieur Femi Kalika, just call me cockroach.
Now, Monsieur Femi once now.
Hey, that's you. Improve car. Yeah. Captain Mosquito, double the action. Sasso spray, Monsieur Femi Sasso quell. Yeah, go to my Sasso, come and tum preco.
Changing, so should you. If you're dreaming, don't be afraid. And in the valleys, keep your head up high. Dare to dream with Puma drinks. Puma, yeah. Believe it, you can achieve. Puma, oh yeah. Clap your hands for the whole new vibe. Make we start the blessing. Oh yeah, come alive. Let me hear you.
Puma drinks, a whole new vibe. Another quality product from Casa Precon.
This advertisement has been vetted and approved by the FDA.
Bunty, why you there? Well, lie, tell her today we'll give you my money.
Oh, my guy, what's up? Oba unse me din na dede baby. Scan on ASA. 500 cedis per. Ah.
I see. Level don't change. But to show me the way.
But there's some sorry Amanua. Talk to babe.
¿Quieres ganar dinero?
Huh?
Cash.
Yes, cash.
Let me show you the easy way to make money with One Shot.
Visit the Wanna Own website at wannaown.us. Sign up with your phone number and get ready to play. Select games on the homepage and then select One Shot Game. Deposit to make an entry, then pick a number from 0 to 99. If your number comes up, you win a cool 500 cedis.
Hey, so it'll be easy like that.
Just like that.
So I'll go buy my dream car.
Por supuesto. Just visit wannaown.us and win some cool cash prizes.
It's Bemi.
Boom!
You be too much.
Play responsibly. Gaming can be addictive. Accredited and endorsed by the Gaming Commission of Ghana.
Can he tee up someone in red? And it goes to
Too much, sir!
That's who goal is for.
I got 5 champions league. You want to know?
I be the real goat, chairman.
My chairman, the goat.
The left magician, the left magician.
Who is the goat? Ghana Jollof or Nigerian Jollof?
Ghana Jollof has no co-equal. The smell alone. Oh my God.
On that shift. You two they lie, eh? Now the same stew when they use cook the rice and then they go put them for top.
Hey! You are lying. Ghana Jollof.
And you be here, forget everybody, yeah?
My guy.
Put your papa in the jar to put some respect on the goat.
On the goat. The only goat I know lives in Tama.
Every year, we dey give to you back to back. We are talking about BET. I want to hear the face. Except be the goat, huh?
My guy, he be the goat.
Though our choice of goats may differ in football, music, and jollof, Alomo Bitters always brings us together. Alomo, experience greatness in every moment.
Drink responsibly. Not for sale to persons under 18, not recommended to pregnant women. This advert is FDA approved.
Price. It's culture. So it's a custom. It's a practice. There is no group of people who have developed with more than one language in the country. I heard that our president went to Zambia and he was dressed in a certain way and they are insulting him. So they called a man that, what does he think? And they said, oh, we have left our African culture and then we are going to pick our Brofo culture. Now, when they say those things, it sounds nice, isn't it? Like, why should we throw away our culture? But I want to ask you a question, which mostly people don't ask. What is that culture they say that we have abandoned? What is it? They don't add it. What constitutes culture? When you talk about culture, you talk about language. When you talk about culture, you talk about religion. When you talk about culture, you talk about custom, practices, traditions. For instance,
last week, the encounter between civil society and President John Dramani Mahama appeared to have generated massive fallouts. Whilst the civil society organizations were clearly disappointed with the big push procurement sole sourcing debacle, the clergy, on the other hand, and all who wanted Akufo-Addo to sign the anti-LGBT bill also came out feeling completely betrayed.
LGBTQ. The boy, you will video no. Say, when in home, if you are so for to do it, don't raise it. Should be honorable Sam John. What said that? What I want? Ever you, maybe 2 months to say. Ever 1 year, ever come 2 years. What Brian say? The catcher. Mama, what do you got? What do you got? LGBTQ. What do you got?
Yes. Also, the Most Reverend Matthew Kwesi Jemfi, who is with the Catholic Bishops' Conference, has quizzed. He said, Mahama promised to pass the LGBT bill, so why is he not doing it? Worse off is the fact that there was actually an LGBT event occurring here in Ghana, in Accra, last Thursday, and it occurred at the Kempinski Hotel.
So this is it. Thursday, April 2nd, 2026. That's the start date. Registration deadline was Monday, and it's happening in Accra. Is here. Kempinski Hotel. That is what has been advertised.
So tonight, Reverend Intim Fojo will appear in our studio, not just to lament the betrayal of Minister Sam George and President John Dramani Mahama over the LGBT issue, but also to tell us the way forward and to tell us whether Parliament would actually pass the bill and whether he thinks when the bill is passed, with the Speaker's enthusiasm about this bill, whether the President will sign it or will the Speaker invoke the provision that allows 2/3 of Parliament to push through a bill into law if the President refuses to sign. All of this coming up with Reverend Intim Fojo tonight. Also tonight, shielding of the self-acclaimed pastor and school owner from prosecution. The Attorney General's office now becomes the clearinghouse for John Komi Sudis's criminal cases. Detailed investigation beginning publication tonight. You can't miss this. Join us tonight on Good Evening Ghana. It's at 9 o'clock. It's live on Metro TV, online, on social media, and on DSTV channel 277.
Well, welcome to the show. It's 27 minutes to the top of the hour, 10 o'clock. This is Good Evening Ghana, and I hope you had a lovely Easter break. Well, we did too, and we're all over across the country enjoying and celebrating the Easter. Tonight, we have a conversation with the Reverend Intim Fojo, who is outstanded by the comments of President John Dramani Mahama and indeed the government communication minister, Felix Kwachio Fosu. Both men have used the word, what was the word they used for the LGBTs? That is not urgent. Both men have said that it's not a priority. They use the word priority. Both the president and his government communication minister now say that the whole LGBT conversation is not a priority. Well, Reverend Intim Fojo will be in the studio to discuss the matter. That's what it is. LGBT plus issues, not a priority for Ghanaians. That is the assessment of government spokesperson Felix Kwachio Fosu. Now, the story is becoming a story because in opposition, the NDC trumpeted it. And you saw the video that was played of the pastor who is beside himself with quite a bit of anger that he said is 1 year now going into 2 years, and that some of the pastors supported the NDC because of that. Later tonight, we'll show you a post from Apostle Kumilabi of the Pentecost Church, and he had some very harsh words back in the day about the LGBT. He's being called upon by some members of the civil society to at least say something about President Mahama's assertion that the LGBTQ matter is not a priority for Ghanaians. An assertion that has been echoed, of course, by his government communication minister. We have a big story on that coming up. Also, we'll show you some pictures from Kwewu and some interesting matters. Honorable Member of Parliament for Medina, Sosu, comes under fire again as Facebook users tag him with a Julius Debra comment at the Kwewu Summit. We'll tell you that more about that. We'll show you the videos as well. It's very interesting. It got very interesting over there as well. The chairman of the Ghana Airports Company, my dear friend Galga, says that the levies that have been placed on travel, both internal and external, are necessary because the last time these levies were amended was in 2010. We have a story on that as well. So, without much ado, let me just jump onto the touchscreen. I hope that you are with us, and good evening. Welcome to the show. So this is what happened at the Crowing Price and all of those places during the Easter celebration on the Facebook page of the former president, he wrote, on the Holy Saturday of Easter, whilst in Kwewu, where for almost 2 decades I have consecutively visited during the sacred period of Easter, I called on President of the Republic, H.E. John Dramani Mahama, who is also in Kwewu. And these are the... Now, this is a photo. This really is the one. Everyone was wondering, what did he say to him? And they said, what did he say to him? You are not sure who said who to whom, but it's the beauty of democracy. And I'm happy the way Akufo-Addo is coming up now. If you look at the comments and you compare the comments that they make of Akufo-Addo today, and you look at the comments they made of him in 2023, you see that something dramatically is changing. And the point that we had always made will one day come home to bear. And read the comments. Hey, Mr. President, how are you doing? We miss you. You heard Prior Tietia said that Akufo-Addo was the best president ever, based on his own assertion. I'm not saying everybody should assess the same, but that's based on his own assertion. But I'm just saying that posterity will have a lot to say about the period of 2017 to 2024. There'll be a lot for posterity to say. So these are the photographs. President Akufo-Addo, Julius Debra, the Chief of Staff, the Honorable Minister for Trade, and President John Dramani Mahama. Yeah, the same people in the photograph. Another one, that's a big high. Oh, President Mahama is very excited over here, really wondering what the old man told him. Viewers, have a look at that photograph. I'm wondering, what did the old man tell President Mahama? He's so excited. He said, wow. It was a beautiful home they were in. I'm not sure I don't know whether it's Julius Debra's home but this is the Chief of Staff, Julius Debra, briefing them. And so all of this is and this is the entire delegation. Akufo-Addo, of course, was accompanied by Captain Koda and other people. I see other people in the photograph. And here is President Mahama and other people. And this is Mr. Banfo Sickens, they call him. I believe that then will be his home. He must have hosted the meeting. Very beautiful encounter for the Kwewu. Next year, we are all going, aren't we? Next year, we are all going to Kwewu for Easter. But whilst the Kwewu Summit was happening, so there's a Kwewu Easter festivities, Easter celebration, and now there's Kwewu Summit. So the two together is the first. Without the Easter Summit, Kwewu was already a big deal. Now it's become even greater. And we thank God that we have Christmas Christmas basically in Accra, isn't it? And then you have Kwewu in Easter, and then you also have Christmas in Takoradi and all that. As the tourism develops, we'll become more modern and modern. It's very important that we keep these things going. President John Dramani Mahama spoke at the Kwewu Easter Summit, said many things. But one thing that he said that tickled many people on social media, the comments are so varying and the comments are so unpredictable. This is what he said. I just leave it to you. Have a look at this.
When the contractors get paid, they go and buy a Land Cruiser for themselves. Car dealers also benefit. And even the spouses, the wives, and the side chicks also benefit. Because when they are paid and they get something, they give their wives and side chicks, some of the money. And that's an important avenue because you know where that one too goes. When the spouses and the side chicks too get, hairdressers get, dressmakers get, jewelry shops get, handbag sellers get. So don't discount that one at all. When the contractors get paid, they go and buy a Land Cruiser for themselves. Car dealers also benefit. And even the spouses, the wives, and the side chicks also benefit. Because when they are paid and they get something, they give their wives and side chicks, some of the money. And that's an important avenue because you know where that one too goes. When the spouses and the side chicks too get, hairdressers get, dressmakers get, jewelry shops get, handbag sellers get. So don't discount that one at all.
President Mahama seems to know the things people need. and the things a category of people need, handbags, dressmakers, and all of that. Okay, you may make a comment on that. I have no comment to make on that, but that was at the Go Business Summit where the president spoke to businessmen, and he was promising them that contractors who are being owed for a few months will now be paid. And along that, he developed this conversation of when contractors get paid, what kind of multiplier effect occurs in the economy. And his example was to use the examples that he said. Okay, let's come back home to Accra. And the Member of Parliament for Medina, Javier Susu, also came under huge fire when at the KOU Summit, the Honorable Julius Debra, the President's Chief of Staff, spoke about employment. Julius Debra made a very strong point that the jobs is what people need. And when the video came across to social media, many people were tagging Julius Debra's statement to my friend Javier Susu, the Medina MP. For you to get the story in proper context, because one of the stories we have chosen today, for you to get it in proper context, let's take you through a little bit of a journey. Now, here's Javier Susu speaking as a member of the opposition in 2024's campaign. He was speaking about the much touted 24-hour economy policy, of which we are still yet to see anything anyway. And I made the point the last time that the 24-hour economy secretariat itself closes at 5 p.m. I thought that was an irony, it's a contradiction, because a 24-hour economy secretariat must live by its name, 24-hour economy secretariat. But today they close at 5. They will come at 8 o'clock tomorrow. If you go there at 6 a.m., there will be nobody there. They will tell you that they will come at 8 o'clock and then they will close at 5. That's the 24-hour economy. Anyway, yes, also speaking about the 24-hour economy.
Within the 24-hour economy, you have scheduled myself from 6 o'clock into 6. A 2 now upon. The second set, a from Satu, a 10 on the The third set, a 10, and a past 6 now appointing 8 hours biano, Nipa a Juma.
That was Susu in opposition. 8 hours via Nipa a Juma. Then, when the pressure came on him as a member of the majority in Parliament, and still member of Parliament for Medina, pressure was mounting from the youth and making demands about the promises that were made during the campaign, particularly the 24-hour economy. If I'm a young person and you tell me that for every job available that I can see, 2 more people will be added to the person who is doing the job, why will I not vote for you? Because employment is critical. Everyone is looking for employment. And then I'm told by a politician who wants to be president that for all the jobs I see in the public sector, so I go to the ministry, I see jobs. I go here, I see jobs. I see JMPC. I hear of BOST. I hear of all that. So for whatever numbers that they are there, for every single job, 2 more people like me will be added. Of course, I will give you my vote. So after telling the youth that this is what was going to happen, for which reason many of the young people, in fact, 99% of the young people voted for the Umbrella Party on an important matter like this. Well, this was one of the main things upon which they voted, because initially the policy was struggling. Then the NDC came up with a 133. Many people thought that it was a hoax. Nobody can do that. No government can come into power and add 2 more people to the jobs already being done. Everyone talks about the over-bloated public purse. No IMF or World Bank is going to tolerate that. We all knew that. Somehow the youth didn't believe it. They believe the politician. So Susu now comes today and the demands are coming upon him. That is what you promised us. Now listen to what he tells them when they ask of those things.
Sit on Twitter and TikTok and make the noise and see what that noise creates jobs. Can you imagine if you're a young person and all you were doing is having a small Indomie joint? That gives you about, let's say, 200 Ghana cedis profit a day. And you have about 10 of those Indomie joints. How much are you making a day? That's about 2,000 Ghana cedis a day. That's, if you're just a young person, that's what you're doing. Can you imagine 2,000 Ghana cedis a day? 10 days, how much is that? That's 20,000 Ghana cedis. In 30 days, how much is that? It's about 60,000 Ghana cedis. How many jobs will give you 60,000 Ghana cedis a month? Immigration, Ghana Police Service, GRA, no one will pay that much. So Ghanaians and young people must begin to look at entrepreneurship as a way out of the youth unemployment situation. Otherwise, I fear that we may just crash. And that is the honest truth. But young people don't want to be told the honest truth. I know they should find out a job. Okay.
When these things happen, I worry about the political class. One day they'll ban everybody that all of you are liars. You politicians, you are liars. You people, you are liars. That's what they'll say. They'll say you people, but it was Aviation also. But they'll say you people. Can you imagine that? You don't even have to say anything. The people are asking for jobs. You can just continue promising them that, oh, don't worry, we'll do it. We're on it. You don't have to come and give this lecture. It's so annoying. It's so insulting to the people. Brutally insulting. You are telling them they are mad. You told them that you will give them a job on 133. You told them. Today you come and ask them that how many of you will earn 60,000 in GRA? Look at the way he rattles out the job opportunities, GRA, police, immigration. That's what you promised them. Take them to GRA. Forget about how much they will earn. They don't want to earn 60,000. They just want to earn a decent living. They don't want 60,000. That's your Indomie 60,000. Take it. Just go and eat your Indomie. They want the job, a decent living. The way you are a member of parliament, that you drive your Land Cruiser through they want to one day be a member of parliament. To do that, they must have a decent living. Then you tell them that they should go and sell Indomie. Listen to one of the constituent members of Medina, young lady who felt very bruised by this unwelcome and insensitive comments of a politician. Completely insensitive. Let's see what the young lady said.
Honorable Francis Sosu, Member of Parliament for Medina. Now the youth cannot demand for jobs again. They cannot ask for jobs again. And because of that, they are making noise. So what? They shouldn't sit on X to make noise and social media to make noise. Rather, they should go and set up Indomie joint. Because for you think it's lucrative enough. I mean, nobody is saying setting up an Indomie joint is bad. But let me ask you a sincere question. What has happened to the 1 million coders as a means to give employable skills to the youth? Let me ask you a question. What has happened to the 24-hour economy of state agencies to employ 3 times the current workforce? What has happened to them? Instead of you to fulfill the promises you made to them in opposition, that you're going to create employment for the youth, you lie your way to government. And now instead of you to give them accountability and provide job for them, you're telling them that they are making noise. Don't you think it's a bit harsh? And giving them alternatives to do what? Go and set up Indomie joints. Like by now, they should have like 10 Indomie joints and it will fetch them more money than the security service. You knew that. And yet, Moton forms be brave. And the youth of this country who are already struggling to make ends meet, to buy forms 200 cedis times 500 and something, when you know you're only taking what, 5,000 people or what? So the monies you took from them in the form of buying forms, what are you doing? What are you doing it? What are you using it for? Say you are going to re-register every SIM in this country. 5 cedi times 35 million active subscribers in this country. Why do you want to siphon money from the ordinary Ghanaian? Why? I mean, I don't blame you. Yeah, honestly, I don't at all. Because what? Honorable Rashid Pelpu, once a presidential staffer under Mahama Kaukasha said the youth should go into the bush and gather stones or cut grass to sell as a means of employment. It's sad. It's like, I don't understand if because you think indeed Ghanaians have short memory, or that you can say anything and come to power and now try and defend yourself. I really don't get it. We are told not to be spectators. We are supposed to be active citizens of this country. And so please, setting up Indomie and your bonnet, but come again. How many of your children, your graduate daughters and sons, have you set up this Indomie joint for? How many members of your constituency and was setting up for them? Why are you sharing Indomie and some sardine and oil and table that they can go and come and take some from you and set up those Indomie joints? Why do you always want to give Ghanaians bare minimum behavior stuff? Why? Is it that as Ghanaians you don't value us? Somebody has completed Legon. Of course, the person can start a business on the side. Entrepreneurship is good. We are all for entrepreneurship. But however, if the youth are demanding for jobs, I don't think that you have that moral right to come and tell them to set up Indomie joints. Because you will not allow your daughter or your son who completed any of these universities or even the ones in America and the UK and what have you to come and set up Indomie joints. Please respect the Ghanaian youth. They're just like your children. They also have problem-solving ability. They only need platform. You said you give us 24-hour economy. Operationalize that. And by so doing, you can absorb a lot of the unemployed youth into that 24-hour economy. Let the 1 million coders you claim that you've trained some, your government claim. Let's see. AI is there. People are doing a lot of jobs, earning money on social media. So they can also sit on social media and make money. But please, with all due respect, I think the Ghanaian youth deserve better. This giving them bare minimum behavior stuff, because set up Indomie joint, go and cut grass in the bush and gather stones and come and sell. Come from Kokon Keteno. Please, give the Ghanaian youth some respect. Thank you.
Thank you to social media user. But the Honorable Javier Sosu was undefiant. In a subsequent video, he showed himself collecting and eating Indomie. He was emphasizing the point that he stands by the Indomie analysis that he made, that Indomie is profitable. It was even more offensive to many more people. And we believe that is what has prompted a response from Julius Deborah, because it was getting very, very bad. Here's Javier Sosu walking around the streets of his constituency, demonstrating that he eats Indomie, he can eat Indomie, and he has no regrets for what he said. Have a look at the video. There is Javier Sosu. There you see him on a constituency walk, following the public comments about his Indomie comment. 2 policemen with him. He is purporting to eat Indomie to show that the comment he made was correct and that you can sell Indomie, which is now gradually becoming a staple. That's the Member of Parliament for Medina, Javier Sosu. Now, his defiance with this video and the social media massive bashing that he received, we believe may have prompted comments from Chief of Staff Julius Deborah, who perhaps has picked up the social media signals that the comments of Javier Sosu has annoyed a lot of youth and is making the NDC unpopular with their former base. And now, of course, Julius Deborah, you know, is one of those eyeing the presidency post the Mahama administration. He's eyeing the leadership of the NDC. He's locked horns in the race with Johnson Asidun Ketia and now Lato Forsen, Idrisu Haruna, and perhaps the vice president. Julius Deborah is locked up in that race as well. So he's one of those who has a manifest interest in the image of the NDC going forward, because he hopes to ascend that throne to be the NDC leader. And that image, whatever image that the party would have carried through the government, will be essential in determining his fate at the ballot against Mahamudu Bawumia, whether he will win or he will lose. So, of course, he took the bull by the horn and he looked at Javier Sosu's statement and said, this is very dangerous. At the Core Business Summit, no less a platform than that, Julius Deborah mounted the stage to bring back the youth into the NDC thinking. This is what he said about jobs.
This agenda is urgent because Ghana is a youthful country and the demand for meaningful jobs is already pressing on the nation. Our young people do not just need inspiration, they need pathways to work, productivity, ownership, and dignity. Manufacturing creates these pathways at a larger scale for our people. It creates jobs, not only inside factories, but across the wider chain, agriculture, logistics, packaging, engineering, maintenance, marketing, technology, warehousing, finance, and distribution.
I guess the sound was not as great as it could be, but you heard what he was saying. He said the youth needs jobs. There's jobs that the youth need. It's not, they don't need inspiration. They need jobs. So the inspiration of a great potential entrepreneur story, Julius Debra says that's not what they need. In recent news, then, the Ghana's youth needs jobs, not inspiration. That's what Julius Debra said. Ghana's youth do not need inspirational rhetoric. They need jobs. This was at the Co-Business Summit. They do not need inspirational rhetoric here. This is better. Yeah, and that fits what Susu was saying. So viewers, you can make what you want to make of it. That's the Julius Debra Susu story, one of the fallouts of the Co-Business Summit. Now, during the week before Easter, the Ghana Airport Company announced that it was increasing some levies. Actually, the transport minister is the one who made the announcement that some levies were going to be increased. And so they're going to give me, they have the levy, yes. So right now, domestic flights, there's an additional charge of 100 cedis per ticket, and it applies to all flights within Ghana. And then regional flights, that's West Africa, one-way surcharge is $30, and then a return surcharge is $70. Then for international flights, one-way is $50, and return surcharge is $100. Now, people were complaining about these changes, and then the board chairman, I believe, granted an interview. Our very good friend James Agaga, he granted an interview to Joy FM, I believe, and he said we cannot build an aviation hub on 2010 rates. Ghana Airport Board Chair James Agaga defends new airport levies. So what it means is that since 2010, the airport company has not increased its rates. All these rates already do exist, so they have just increased them. They have increased the fees. So he's saying that since 2010, the airport company has also, that's 2010 from Professor Mills. The last time the airport company added anything was before John Mohammed's first presidency under NDC. That was 2010. And since then, nothing has happened. It means so Akufo-Addo went in 2017 to 2024. He did not increase airport charges. The same airport charges that were done in 2010 were there till 2024, because in the 17 to 2024, he didn't find a need to increase it. Whilst Akufo-Addo's administration did not increase the airport levies, let's see what they were able to achieve with the 2010 levies. So, so what did the 2010 rates achieve under Akufo-Addo's administration? Let's see. The first one is this: the completion of Terminal 3 of Accra International Airport. Terminal 3 was not yet completed by the time Akufo-Addo became. It was originated by President Mahama for sure, but it was not completed. Akufo-Addo came in and completed it. They needed money to complete it because some of the rates had changed. So that is one thing that was done at the airport. The next one, constructed the Yakubu Tali International Airport in Tamale. Converted Tamale to an international airport, was achieved under Akufo-Addo at the 2010 rates for the Ministry of Transport. The same 2010 rates. These are the things that were achieved. Then you come to the Sunyani Airport, was renovated Sunyani Airport after it was closed since 2015. Sunyani Airport was closed. When Akufo-Addo came, he paid money to renovate it so that the Sunyani Airport was open. He was using the same 2010 rates that some people are saying that 2010 is too far, we can't do it. Without the 2010 rates, these are the things Akufo-Addo was able to achieve. Then you come to the builds the Prempeh International Airport in Kumasi. As we all can see, everyone who goes to Kumasi is very happy with it. It was with the 2010 rates. He built the airport in Kumasi. This is what some governments can do. This is what some governments can do. And when other people come in, they look at it and they see that it's a difficult matter. It's not simple. You really will wonder that how was somebody able to use the 2010 rates to do all these things I'm talking about? You see it. It's, well. Okay. There's this one too. The Civil Aviation Authority constructed a new Ghana Civil Aviation Authority head office. This one was constructed and during the Akufo-Addo era at the 2010 rate. Civil Aviation also is part of that money. Civil Aviation Authority, they are part of that money. They are part of those monies. But this is what happened. Anyway, well, okay, so that's President Mahama, President Akufo-Addo again. You see, I brought this back because President Akufo-Addo will be remembered. He remembered for great things. It's coming. I mean, we're even surprised at the rate at which it's coming. Look at this airport story we're talking about. 2010 rates, he didn't increase anything. He just kept on building and building and building and building. Oh, it's coming. You see how he looks good at 82 or so. See how he looks good. Yeah. You're a good man. Sometimes God will bless you with these things. Okay. Let's go to the text messages and then we'll come back and build the LGBT story. Reverend Tim Fojo is already here and he has taken his seat. I'll begin with Fatih on the text messages tonight. Fatih, what are people saying?
Right. Thank you, Paul. So, coming from Max Berry, he says so the NDC members will not leave this program for us and stop with the negative comments. Kwesi also Pepper says we deserve it, so we should keep quiet for it. We know these people and they are already given contracts to their so-called engineers and planners. Shadrach says, well spoken, sis. Now the youth can't express themselves. At least you promised to set up jobs. Franklin Bass says, excellent observations, my lady. You are fluent, wise, and good. What do you have first?
Thank you, Fatih. So this one is from Jerry Jackson. He says, I think Mahama's problem is his lack of faith in believing himself to be president again. So when he was running, he lied to the people, and now he has made promises he cannot materialize. Bennett Dancy says, Sasu stance on the 24-hour economy seems contradictory. Initially, he expressed excitement, but now advises the youth to focus on entrepreneurship rather than voicing their opinions on Twitter. It's time for him to lead by example and step down from parliament to pursue Indomie entrepreneurship. Balfour is complimenting the social media woman. She says, beauty with brains, definitely well done. Julius Amarco says, Indomie joints was there before the NDC told the youth about the 133 useless propaganda from the NDC government. E.B. Ofoe says, Sasu is a wolf in sheep's clothing, a so-called human rights lawyer, yet nothing on the current LGBTQI discussion. Always riding on his supposed underprivileged background. Cows are trapped by their horns, men by their words. Hypocrite. And lastly, from Ryan says, make no mistake, that's how President Mahama sounds when he's serious or speaking to himself. Yes, sometimes it's important to take light of every situation, but in our case, this is not funny and this is not the right place for it. For God's sake, this is a business conference and it presents you with an opportunity to make a policy statement, account to the people and give the business community some assurance. Anyway, good evening to you, Paul, from Ryan Sasu from Vienna, Austria. Over to you, Kia.
Chris Adu says, Paul, JDM knows very well that Ghanaians have short memories, so he capitalized on the situation at the time to coerce Ghanaians to vote for him with the sole aim to come and finish his second term in office, but not to provide solutions to the people's problems. From Junior Akbar in Tamale, he says, God of Akufo-Addo and God of Dr. Mahmoud Bawumia is alive. Everybody will see and hear. Let us give time to time and we will see them all. Propaganda can never be the solution to the nation. Propaganda can never be the solution to the nation. What a regulatory nation is this? Theophilus Obeng says, good evening, Apostle Paul. The NDC, is, as a social democrat, does not have any better thing to offer Ghanaians. All they have come to do is create, loot, and share. No wonder they are proposing 24-hour Indomie economy. God save our mother Ghana. Over to you, Paul.
Thank you very much. And viewers, that's Ikuya, who is just adding to our social media editors. So we're ready for the LGBT conversation. Don't go anywhere. Then also the wild speculations about the cover-up, something, a supposed alleged cover-up being occasioned at the Attorney General's office, because this particular highly suspected criminal was the Attorney General, Deputy Attorney General Justice Shem Sai, in private practice, was the lawyer for this highly suspected criminal. And prosecution of his case had begun in the earlier administration by the government's prosecution agencies. The allegation by the people that he has wronged is that since the private lawyer became Deputy Attorney General, it looks like the government's hand to push the prosecution is softened a little bit. We'll tell you the details. That's part of our tonight's conversation. Let's take a short break. When we come back, we have anything for Joe with a big interview on the LGBT.
Time aso. Hey, Jay. Watch it, not learning. Listen, watch and learn.
Now the youth cannot demand for jobs again. They cannot ask for jobs again. And because of that, they are making noise. So what? They shouldn't sit on X to make noise and social media to make noise. Rather, they should go and set up Indomie joint. Because for you, you think it's lucrative enough. I mean, nobody's saying setting up an Indomie joint is bad. But let me ask you a sincere question. What has happened to the 1 million coders as a means to give employable skills to the youth? Let me ask you a question. What has happened to the 24-hour economy of state agencies to employ 3 times the current workforce? What has happened to them? Instead of you to fulfill the promises you made to them in opposition, that you're going to create employment for the youth, you lie your way to government, and now instead of you to give them accountability and provide job for them, you're telling them that they are making noise. Don't you think it's a bit harsh? And giving them alternatives to do what? Go and set up Indomie joints. Like by now, they should have like 10 Indomie joints and it will fetch them more money than the security service. You knew that. And yet, Moton forms be brave. And the youth of this country who are already struggling to make ends meet, to buy forms 200 cedis times 500 and...
Time aso. Hey, Jay. Watch it, not learning. Missy, watch and learn. Abozing. I can say no ya konate and the more drink woman. Hey. But I didn't mean. Oh, sorry. She knew her old days. Eddie, Dabio, baby womb. Ready? Hey, baby womb. Ah, Eddie. I'll cause some discomfort. Ah. Sorry, well, uncle, where would the dad? Why your funeral?
Say a sorry insecticide GB at a user. For pharmacy in a shop biamu. Na mum say a pharmacy supermarket and a shop ra. Na repedudu to a cotonwa. On for Royal Dutch and our Aerofield Trading. Efi spray with daimwa. Chansima a dronu and sana a radine. Inkratui FDA ajatum.
Anti-cavity, gum protection, brighter teeth, and fresh breath.
I'm fat Missy Wayne.
Repacho Bantama.
Matias.
It's her smile.
The fresh breath.
Me Jidi say we use Kel 360 toothpaste. Some kind. Kel 360 toothpaste.
Guys, Kia. Kel 360 toothpaste. It's a gum protector. Onim jom kasan. Ile ko saying. Kel 360 did the way. It's cool mint. Gives me fresh breath and your confidence booster.
And you will see so feeling kika when you know Kel 360 toothpaste.
Happy smile.
Kel 360 toothpaste, anti-cavity, gum protection, brighter teeth, and fresh breath. Kel, happy smile. This advert is FDA approved.
Can he tee up someone in red? And it goes to
Do not say!
That's who goal is for.
What
After 5 champions league,
you
want to know? I be the real goal. Chairman. I be the real goal. The left magician. The left magician.
Who is the good? Ghana Jollof or Nigeria Jollof?
Ghana Jollof has no co-equal. The smell alone. Oh my God.
No, that shift. You two the lie, eh? Now the same stew when they use cook the rice and then they go put them for top.
Hey, you are lying. Ghana Jollof.
Are you busy? Forget everybody, yeah? My guy. Put some respect on the goat.
On the goat. The only goat I know lives in Tama.
Every year, we give to you back.
We are talking about PET. I want some Yaji face. Except be the goat, huh? My guy, he be the goat.
Though our choice of goats may differ in football, music, and jollof, Alomo Bitters always brings us together. Alomo, experience greatness in every moment.
Drink responsibly. Not for sale to persons under 18, nor recommended to pregnant women. This advert is FDA approved.
This.
Last week, the encounter between civil society and President John Dramani Mahama appeared to have generated massive fallouts. Whilst the civil society organizations were clearly disappointed with the big push procurement sole sourcing debacle, the clergy, on the other hand, and all who wanted Akufo-Addo to sign the anti-LGBT bill also came out feeling completely betrayed.
LGBTQ. The boy, you will video no. Say, when in home, if you are so for the one don't raise, it should be honorable Sam John. What said that quarter one? About your peer. Maybe 2 months to say, about 1 year, ever come 2 years. What Brian say, the catcher. Mama, what do you got? What do you got? LGBTQ. What do you got? Yes.
Also, the Most Reverend Matthew Kwesi Jemfi, who is with the Catholic Bishops' Conference, has quizzed. He said, Mahama promised to pass the LGBT bill, so why is he not doing it? Worse off is the fact that there was actually an LGBT event occurring here in Ghana, in Accra, last Thursday, and it occurred at the Kempinski Hotel.
So this is it. Thursday, April 2nd, 2026. That's the start date. Registration deadline was Monday, and it's happening in Accra. Is here, Kempinski Hotel. That is what has been advertised.
So tonight, Reverend Intim Fojo will appear in our studio, not just to lament the betrayal of Minister Sam George and President John Dramani Mahama over the LGBT issue, but also to tell us the way forward and to tell us.
Good evening and welcome to tonight's edition of Good Evening Ghana.
Sorry about the mishap over there. So Reverend Intim Fojo is seated, but let's do the prelude to the conversation about the LGBT. So the story really is that there was a lot of promises made by the NDC, and it was related to a campaign message, and it was also related to a finger pointing at the NPP, and in particular, President Nana Addo Dankwa Akufo-Addo representing the NPP. Story was that Akufo-Addo's hesitation to sign the bill suggests that the NPP likes LGBT, which everyone agrees is very directly opposed to our culture in many ways. So if that tag is put on you as a political party, you really must have a lot to do to turn it around. Unfortunately, the NPP was not able to turn it around, and it's reflected in the ballot. Many Ghanaians believed in what they were doing. They believed that this group of people who have dedicated themselves against this practice will certainly, when they hold the reins of government, be able to turn the tables around, sign the bill into law, and make it work. That's what they all believed. And then they also believe that this group of people must get a high percentage in parliament so that it will be easy for them to do their work and pass their laws, especially that LGBT. Because if parliament becomes 50-50 like it was in 2020, the lobby of the anti-LGBT lobby feared that with a 50-50 parliament or a 51-48 parliament, there could be disagreements when it comes to LGBT. So a campaign was waged that in addition to electing President Mahama, everyone must be sure that they elect the NDC NP so that NDC will have a huge majority in parliament to pass bills such as the LGBT. In fact, in some instances, President Mahama promised stakeholders that the one that was before the parliament at the time, the 8th parliament, was a private member's bill, that when he is president, it will be a government bill drafted by the Attorney General. All of these gave significant confidence to the promise that this was going to happen. The clergy weighed into it. So if you watch the video of this clergyman and you see his disappointment, you can now put it in perspective, having heard the narrative. Let's go to his church. A social media user put up the video. I don't know who he is, never met him, but this is what he said.
Say when in home. It is so for to do it don't read because I saw for near Preconco Yam of mine. It is your Baba Sayama and it's a mass of baby ratio. It is so to me number. This is happening in Timmins LGBTQ. Yankasi and Kukuni Pow. Yankasi and Kukuni Pa. Yakasi, who is for minor in Rebiaba. The yes are supporting your preachers. No. Ni yet me preaching so many etimuno it will preach no preachers only out of same for me kase so so years nia o mani wo mra ho won na kote bem na koye nya chiwa obedam ni ye ne so ka ye preaching ho not am to be my you do yes ni obi ni kan ntia oba je fa ne san kan amen me tell Sam George Honorable Sam George, what said that quarter one? About your peer. Oh, yeah, Honorable Sam George, what said that quarter? You don't want a yes out campaign. And I didn't have to found. About young fantasy, Mimi, two men to say, about 1 year, ever come 2 years, what Brian say. You know what's a casa crabang will be so assembly. I can go see. No, but you can't know. You can't so man tonton. When you are here, yes. Yamoya brad, you may you point the best for yes. Okay, no man be see ye deep on the resources man or the my. But this 20 missions in your report. Then we will go now. Go the client me what's I made it you. You should be good in your report domain. What do you mean, Amen. One kind Psalm 37, verse 21. Psalm 37. Psalm George, verse 21. Honorable Psalm George. Oh, but you have a me patch out over family for you. You Pia. Then so you see the Tria, LGBT. Also, you me catch you. His answer. Me catch you. Mama, what do you got? Omampani, what the cat or the cat? What family free and chance of bar over Siamai? What the cat? Sam George, what the cat? What the cat LGBTQ? What the cat? Yes. Omampani, what the cat? When you cook, dear LGBTQ, I thought what is on my mouth. What the cat? The book of Ecclesiastes, chapter 5, verses number 5. What do you tell? Fenyam say, one better over day, over sign. Since all castle over pet, over sign. No person won't pass over sign. What do you cut? Of them on fear. Didn't claim for your Christopher LGBT. Sign me a command. And one no.
So the name is Apostle Oku of the Living Yahweh Oku Ajiman of the Living Yahweh Seventh Day Assemblies. That's Seventh Day Sabbath Assemblies. That's him. He's very disappointed. But there was also a reminder to Apostle Kumilabi the former General Secretary of the Pentecost Church, a reminder of what he said. And a social media user, Nana Hesi Ojiri, used the expression. Now, Apostle Kumilabi had published on October the 7th, 2021, as follows. We don't hate LGBTQIAAP++ people. We hate their deeds. Sin, he said, is sin. We love them and want to help them. We demand full transparency in the LGBT bill. So we are asking for open ballots of yes and no boxes. We want to see every MP's vote. We put them there and should see how they represent us on this matter of our value system. Yes, we will vote en masse against any party or government that tries to undermine our value system by pushing the satanic agenda of LGBTQI in Ghana. Wow. That's verve. That's what they call verve. Apostle Kumilabi, that was him. Very convincing, very powerful rendition of the reason why we should vote against any, he said, party or government that will undermine our value system. Eventually, Apostle Kumilabi became the chairman of the Ghana Prison Service, appointed by President John Dramani Mahama. Now, today, Nana Hesi Ojiri writes a letter to Apostle Kumilabi on social media as follows. He says, Dear Annie Kumilabi, below is what you said about the LGBT bill under Nana Addo Dankwa Akufo-Addo. What are you saying about the LGBT bill now? Now that you have heard what John Mahama is saying, that it is not a priority. Or, he adds, is it because you've been appointed as a council of chairman of prison service? That's a question that the viewer is asking the venerable and the very distinguished apostle, former general secretary of the Pentecost Church, Apostle Kumilabi. That's the question they're asking. That's the question. It's a very sober matter, and I don't know how the clergy is going to handle it. But if they don't handle it well, this will be the biggest betrayal of the old and new clergy to the people. It will be the biggest way in which church leaders have betrayed their followers. In the whole history, I have to write a book on it. If the clergy cannot speak, we have to document it. That this event, significant as it is, became in the Fourth Republic the biggest betrayal of church leaders against their followers who followed them and believed in the position they took against a policy which they said was part of our value system. The gays, homosexual, lesbian conversation. It will be a betrayal. It will appear that some of these church leaders are beginning to observe the potential dent with which the church will live if this thing is not resolved. So you will see that the Catholic Bishops' Conference have put out very strong words about the matter. Now, the president of the Catholic Bishops' Conference queries and says, Mahama promised to pass the anti-LGBT bill. So why isn't he doing it? It's a warning shot from the Catholic Church. Because the Catholic Church is an important organization, it's an institution, and it knows what it means to protect the image of such ecclesiastical establishment over centuries. They have learned to protect their image over centuries. They've learned to keep their followers over centuries. They do not want a betrayal to come in between they and their followers on any matter of government policy. They will have to maintain their very consistent position. That's why you've seen that coming from the Catholics. But for the majority of the people who are upwardly mobile, they associate more with these big names of the men of God. Duncan Williams, Ajin Asari, Koranchi Ankara, Reverend Lawrence Tete. A lot of upwardly mobile associates with these modern day, you can call them televangelists if you like, but these modern day people. And all of these names I've mentioned were very critical in telling Ghanaians almost blatantly that vote out the MPP because of LGBT. Of course, they were aided by politicians like Sam Nate George, who is now the most unpopular figure on Twitter as a result of some of these things, some of these contradictions being pointed out. And we do not want the way Sam George is being treated for the clergy to be treated the same. The clergy is more important than the politician because the clergy have the power to hold society together. Politicians may not have that power, but certainly the church does, holds the power to hold the nation together. And if people are going to lose trust in church leaders because they said LGBT was bad yesterday, but today, when the government has said clearly that it's not interested in LGBT, they keep quiet, that will be a major and massive, very unfortunate betrayal between the church leaders and their followers. And it shouldn't happen. It has the potential to break the back of this society's organization here in Ghana. So church leaders, please beware. And perhaps you can follow the Catholic Church, and there should be similar statements coming out as it did before. I know Apostle Kumilabi will come out very soon. I know him. Very decent man. It's important that we tell the president that what he said is contrary to the value system of the people of Ghana. And if he and his party think so, then as Kumilabi said, Ghanaians should vote them out en masse. That's the words that he used. That's the words that Kumilabi used. We expect him to repeat those same words because that old president never came and said that it's not a priority, but it was assumed from his posture that he didn't want to sign it. This one has openly said, it is not my priority. So if you were angry with Akufo-Addo on X times 2 square, you should be angry with Mahama on X times 15,000 square. Because Mahama's declaration that is not a priority to the nation is to effectively shut the door to the conversation. That's what he's done. He said it's not a priority. He told you what the priorities are. He told you. He said roads, network, energy. Those are more important. What is LGBT? It's not a priority. He shut the door. Perhaps the producer is signaling me to play the video for you to see. This is President Mahama speaking at the event of civil society.
I publicly stated, I'm a proud member of the Assemblies of God Church, and my faith does not permit same-sex marriages or relationships. No. Thank you. My faith does not permit same-sex marriages or relationships, nor does it endorse human-animal relationships, or does it allow people to change their gender as they wish. This is a fundamental belief that I hold and is grounded in my faith. I therefore assure you that the promotion of LGBTQ and all the pluses will have no place in our schools and communities under my administration.
I like Reverend Bam Lamte. Yeah, I tried it. I tried the Negbo. Kolebu Yejeme. Do you know that song? Oh my goodness. Politics and politicians. That was President Mahama then. Look at President Mahama today.
Thank you. Regarding LGBTQ plus issues, it remains a highly emotive and sensitive issue, even in the most advanced liberal democracies. I explained during my recent engagement with the World Affairs Council that it's not the most important issue we face as a nation. We're still grappling with the provisions of basic needs of education, healthcare, jobs, food, clothing, and shelter. Nevertheless, the private members' bill introduced in Parliament has sparked a complex and sensitive national conversation. Our position is guided by our Constitution, respect for human rights and dignity of all persons, and the need to preserve social cohesion. I'm also mindful of reactions from our international partners, including the recent developments such as Lincoln University's withdrawal of their honorary doctorate. These developments underscore the importance of continued engagement and mutual respect, and of situating our national decisions within our constitutional and cultural.
That was President John Dramani Mahama shocking the clergy to the bone and marrow during the civil society conversation. It wasn't just President Mahama who spoke, even though he was the most important speaker. But I'm taking you back one step. I'll come back to Felix. Yes, Malik Basintali, who was really the Commander General of the youth campaign. And this is what he echoed, and this is how he echoed it.
And I know that when they win power, God forbid, if they win power, God forbid, they will bring back that LGBT system, because both of them are refusing to even comment on it because they know the intentions they have.
Dr. Baumia has commented on it.
Napo attempted bringing that. Napo Baumia said
that his religion is against it, and he stands for his religion.
Akufo-Addo went to the Anglican Church and said the same thing. When he went to Al Jazeera, he said it is bound to happen. When Kamala Harris came here, he repeated the same LGBT stance to her. So these are people who would say one thing when they are in corners, but when they meet the world, they can't say it. When John Mahama met the world, he said it. When Atamils met the world, he said it. If he is bold, he should say it for the world to hear. They are pretending.
That was Malik Basintali. He went stronger than President Mahama back in the day, but all of these were assurances that were given. President Mahama's views on the priority nature of the LGBTQ has been emphasized by the Minister for Government Communications, the Honorable Member of Parliament for Felix constituency sports. Asin Kwaman. Asebu, yes, Asebu in the Central Region. Member of Parliament for Asebu, Felix Kwachiofosu, says that the LGBT issues are not a priority for Ghanaians. That's how he puts it. It's not a priority for Ghanaians. I don't know whether he was speaking about himself or he was speaking about me or speaking about you, but he said it's not a priority for Ghanaians. We'll assume that he means all Ghanaians. Wow. Wow, that's a big thing to say for a government communication minister is speaking on behalf of Ghanaians on a matter like that. Sensitive matter. I don't know whether he's conducted some research. He may have, but he says it's not a priority for Ghanaians. Do you agree with that? Well, you can send a text about it. Okay, viewers, without much ado, let me go straight to, let me pick some text messages and we settle down to start the interview. So should I start with Fatih again? Fatih, what are people saying?
All right, thank you, Paul. So Meshrick says Sam George has already admitted that whatever they said was to get the party in power. Also, Rich Golden says the point is the new patriotic party, Nanado and Dr. Mahmoud Baumia never ever campaigned on the LGBTQ bill issues in the 2016 or 2020 electoral cycles. It was never a promise by Nanado to introduce or sign any bill. It is rather the NDC through Sam George and John Mahama who introduced the bill in Parliament of Ghana and made a whole noise about it. Why are they running away from their own baby now? They should leave NPP out of their mouth and carry the cross. Obviously, Kumilabi should be prepared to resign his position if he's not bold enough to speak now. Maud Ani says, personally, I don't think the LGBTQ++ bill will be ever passed. When you are in opposition, it's easy for you to put pressure on the government, like what the NDC did and even said they'll pass it. Now look at what they are doing. Hello.
All right, thank you very much. So Sunday Anthony says, good evening, Paul. Today's my first time on your program. Where are our men of God? They must stand and fight against this like they did to Nanado. Yeboah Amphofa says, hypocrisy and dishonesty is the very fiber that is killing Ghanaian so-called pastors. And one thing they should know is that the very God they claim they worship is washing them, if really they have shame in their eyes. Yao Jebri says, if the NDC in opposition said the MPP government was engaging in corruption because of some contracts awarded through the sole sourcing, then the NDC government is engaging in corruption for awarding roads under the big push through the sole sourcing, in contrary to their own criticisms in opposition and their 2024 manifesto. Every project is very critical and emergency intervention, so that the government should not think contracts under the big push is emergency. So sole sourcing is the only way or the best way for procurement processes to reserve for road contracts, as the government and Mahama said that it was bad under the first presidency. They definitely should also keep their word. This one is from Rich Gideon. He says, the point is the New Patriotic Party never ever campaigned or complained about the LGBTQI bill. They should definitely not be held accountable for it. And lastly, from Mensa Harrison, he says, Uncle Paul, I was expecting all the journalists who interviewed Mr. Sam George to interview him again so that we can judge him properly by his own words. Over to you, Ekia.
Yao February said, the NDC government's reaction towards the anti-LGBTQ bill and LGBT activities in Ghana authenticate all the criticisms and campaigns against NPP governments were just to get the votes of Ghanaians. Now that the anti-LGBTQ bill is not the priority of the NDC government, and the President Mahama has also asserted he has opportunity to reject the bill even when the Council of State advised to assent, Ghanaians should not give NDC government pressure and criticisms as they aided them in opposition against the NPP government. Over to you, Paul.
Thank you very much. It's time to have the conversation with the Reverend Intim Fojo, Member of Parliament for Ascent South. And he's here to help us with the conversation. We held a press conference today. I was watching. You were a member of Parliament. You were part of the beginning of the thinking of. You worked with Sam George on the bill and all of that, right from the beginning. You were one of the promoters of the original bill. What's the latest? What's the latest? So some sentiments changed in there?
Yeah, thank you very much, Paul. In fact, right from August 2017, as you can see on the screen, that was when I held the first press conference on LGBT in Parliament. And on record, I'm yet to come across any LGBT press conference ever held in Parliament. August 2017, and that was the time Speaker Okwe was a speaker. And in fact, he was very strong in supporting advocacy that we mounted. Somewhere along the line in 2021, Honorable Sam George and a group of our colleagues also came together. We shared in that conviction that indeed the 1960 Criminal and Other Offences Act was just a string of legislation which is not encompassing and comprehensive enough to deal with all the emerging dimensions of LGBT, and therefore the new bill is necessary. I mean, there was a spirited advocacy for it. At some point, the NDC, led by their presidential candidate, President John Mahama, weaponized that moral need that we're all trying to advocate around. They weaponized it. They piloted it, Paul, in Ascent North. I'm in Ascent South. So when the by-election came up in Ascent North, they piloted that weaponization, that propaganda of LGBT politics, and it worked.
For the by-election?
For the by-election. The
only
message they brought was that, look, there's nothing about this election. MPP has only 137 and 138, and we have 137. And some of their members don't normally come to Parliament. They need an extra seat to solidify their lead, to go and pass a bill to now allow any man to marry any man, any woman to marry any woman. And that is why the Human Sexual Rights Bill that is before them, they don't want to pass it, they don't want to sign it. And then they believed it, and then they voted for them. So when they piloted it, and they worked for that equation, they went to scale. And then they started engaging stakeholders, imams, traditional rulers, pastors, in groups. And some of them came public. And those that came public are the videos you just played.
Also, there was more secret meetings.
There were a lot of engagements that did not even come to the screen. And he got the clergy to rally around us. Because this is something that is an abomination in the Bible, abomination, haram in Quran, and it's an abomination in our traditional system. And wherever you take it, an Afrobarometer survey conducted by CDD indicates, and still, even by now, to even be more, that 93% of our population find it repugnant. They meld, they exploited all these moral issues. And then only to promise that they will sign. And one of the biggest deception was that they succeeded in creating an impression to every Ghanaian that the bill was passed and presented to President Akufo-Addo. And President Akufo-Addo refused to sign it. And so President Akufo-Addo and Dr. Bawumia have refused to sign it, and the bill is at Jubilee House. So if voted as president, will come and sign it. So they voted for him. This evening, I was on the show. I could see saying one of the pastors, very respected pastors, who was at that meeting, those who got up and clapped and went and laid hands on him and blew all kinds of tongues on him, came confessing that Reverend Charles Owusu, he expressed his biggest disappointment. He said he has never, ever been disappointed and deceived the way President Mahama deceived them. And because of the promise and the deception that he will be the one to sign the bill, he actually voted for President Mahama and NDC because of their deception, only for them to turn around to now throw it out of the table and declare authoritatively that it is out of the question, it is not part of the priorities, and now he's seeking to solve all basic needs before he takes a look at LGBT. That is a shameful U-turn. That is a disappointing deception. That is a scam. But Paul, you can scam youth when you promise them 24-hour economy and then turn around to take 111 million cedis from them and then turn around to disqualify them and say, I have just a place for 5,000 for you. You can scam them and promise them one job, 3 shifts, 3 persons to turn around, collect hundreds of millions from them only to disappoint them. You can scam everybody around Galamsey and say that I'll save the environment, I'll stop the destruction of our environment, save our waters, and come and muddy the waters, poison the waters 10 times what you condemned. You can scam Galamsey. You can scam cocoa farmers and promise them 6,500 cedi per bag, come and even reduce it to below 2,600. You can scam farmers. But when you look, clergy, imams, pastors, apostles, bishops, archbishops in the face, and then you lie to them that vote me in power, pray for me, weaponize your pulpits for me, do all kinds of things, agenda for me, and I will come and sign the bill. And he promised them and said, when I come, LGBT will never get to our schools, only for you to come. And the first thing you did was a state-sponsored LGBT couple from South Africa, 2 young men who came and kissed openly and under our national monument, our most sacred monument, the Independent Ark and the Kwame Nkrumah Mausoleum, all these national security zones where camera surveillance, 24/7 surveillance, under the full glare of national security. They came and did all that, did photo shoots, campaigned openly that gay, lesbians, homosexuals, come out, do whatever you want. We've granted you in the second independence. Nobody will do anything to you. Indeed, nothing was done to them. They went. President Mahama sent to Kujita Blakwa and the ambassador to UN Human Rights Council. In that same year, they went, and when an important vote on LGBT was passed, they ran away and abstained. Contrary to the position, the conservative position of this country, all this while, they ran away. We were warning the population, Ghanaians, that let us be careful. Nobody would listen. Then they went and printed LGBT definitions into our books, sponsored by Ghana Education Service and NACA, and under the supervision of Ministry of Education.
You're talking now. This is what has happened.
I am talking now.
Are you serious?
I am talking now. And Paul, this is the book.
What is it called?
It is called Physical Education and Health Elective. Physical Education.
Which year did it come to curricula?
2025. Copyright 2025. This is it. 2025. This is a government teacher manual. This is not a private textbook. So President Mahama sits in Jubilee House and gives his command, and it trickles down the ministry, goes to NACA, goes to GES. They print these books. distribute them to schools, hold workshops to train teachers how to deliver this instruction. And then the first week 1, Paul, please read for me what's the definition of gender identity. Number 4 is just that.
Week 1 is for what class?
This is for SHS. This SHS book. Just the first week.
Is it sexual orientation?
Gender identity. All the definitions are problematic.
1 is sex, 2 is sexuality, 3 is sexual orientation, 4 is gender identity, 5 is gender expression, 6 is consent. So
gender identity.
The honorable member wants me to read 4. It says, it refers to a person's deeply felt internal experience of gender, which may or may not correspond with the sex assigned at birth. It can include being male, female, or blend both. This concept goes beyond the binary notion of gender, male and female, and recognizes the diversity of gender experiences and expressions. This is evil. And this is the curricula.
This has been taught already. This is not in the curriculum.
The same thing we fought when Napo was minister and they took it out and all that.
If this had happened under Akufo-Addo, all hell would have broken loose. Imagine, fancy a situation anywhere under the 8-year rule of President Akufo-Addo, that any textbook, teacher manual, any teacher and learning material whatsoever in our schools, having this definition, the kind of press conferences, the demonstrations that our pastors, our imams, our traditional rulers, and politicians would have mounted against President Akufo-Addo. But this has been state-sponsored by President Mahama. When I exposed them and caught them red-handed, they initially denied. Then I brought the book. Then they came out and said it was an error. If indeed it was an error, immediately NACA Director General should have been fired. GES Director General should have been fired. Not less than 3 people should have been fired if indeed you are the president who promised our pastors, our imams, and our chiefs, looked at them in the face and lied to them that you should be the one who should take charge. And you make sure you safeguard the content of our schools, only for you to come and say that somebody made an error and put it in a book that is approved by NACA, printed with state money, distributed, and taught in our schools. In our true and poor system, you have put in their subconscious memory. In examination, wherever they are going, that's what they are rehearsing. Because in the examination, they are expected to reproduce the same thing. Oh, I am yet to see anybody fired for this. I am yet to see any secular going to schools. They only did deceptive settings of some very shameful press statement that we are recalling it. We have recalled it was all lies. All the teachers teaching it will tell you the books are still with them. Nobody has even given them a circular. Nobody has written to any headmaster or any regional director that takes steps to unlearn these diabolical concepts. No one has done that. And yet, you still have the confidence to come and tell Ghanaians, because when you did all these things, everybody kept quiet. And so now you think that you have succeeded in ensuring that as liberal party as you are, your true colors are now reflecting in the teaching manuals in schools. And so you can come and tell Ghanaians, after you have won their votes, that it is not a priority. It is still a priority. President Mahama said his priorities right. This is the reason why when the bill was introduced in Parliament, the same bill that was so attractive to them, the same bill that was their major priority, the same bill that was their major attraction. Now, the first time they saw it on the order paper, they all were appalled. They quickly distanced themselves from it and deleted it immediately from the order paper.
So it hasn't come onto the floor for second reading?
It took us press conferences, advocacies, pushes, prayer, everything. We combined it for 7 months before it came back on the order paper. And when it got back to the order paper, to date, if it's tomorrow or next week or next month, that the Constitutional Legal Committee will hold a meeting and invite sponsors to come and consider it, I am still waiting for such an invitation. It is not part of their priorities.
So it's been read the first time, gone to committee, but it's
No,
there. The committee is not
they've
dealing
thrown
with
it somewhere because the instruction is coming from Jubilee House.
But who says the agendas for the committee? The chairman?
The agenda for Parliament is set by Jubilee House because the Speaker of Parliament is the leader. He's the head in charge of the whole Parliament. If you're a member of Parliament, for him to even rise up to speak, you must catch the eye of the Speaker for him to ask you to speak. For any bill to be introduced, whether a statesman bill, any legislation, whether government-sponsored or private members' bill, the Speaker of Parliament must approve. The majority leader, he is the leader of government business. He is the chairman of the business committee. So if he doesn't authorize it, it is not going to be discussed. And if he doesn't put it on his front burner as a priority legislation, it's just going to lie somewhere. And the boss himself has come to say it is not a priority. And that is the reason why they've thrown it somewhere. But we are urging them that this is a priority. The two promises he made. One, to sign the private members bill. Then he also said that he himself, when the County Bishop Conference met him, he said that he was going to introduce a government-sponsored bill. We are still going to hold him account to that. He must be held account. When he's in Ghana, he says before last week, he was always saying different things to Ghanaians. Then he went to the United States of America and said different things. He comes back. And Paul, let me express one disappointment. When he came back, the first thing that Assemblies of God wrote and Catholic Bishop Conference wrote and Christian Council of Ghana wrote was a letter of commendation, a statement of praise. I must say again, I'm a pastor, I'm a priest, but I'm highly disappointed in those letters of praise. Praising President Mahama for the fact that Lincoln University had withdrawn his honorary doctorate, and they are claiming that it was because of LGBT. Have you cited any letter from Lincoln University stating that they withdrew the honorary doctorate because of LGBT? Has anybody seen
a
any
letter
such
from the Ghana Embassy, a statement from the Ghana Embassy in Washington?
It is a figment of their own imagination.
Are you serious?
I dare them to prove a letter from Lincoln University citing that we have withdrawn the honorary doctorate on grounds that President Mahama has passed any LGBT bill. In any case,
not that he has passed, but the LGBT situation in Ghana.
No, what is the situation? What situation? Have we passed any bill?
Well, but if the government doesn't have a letter like that, and the government statements from the embassy,
I dare
America,
them. I dare.
That's a serious matter.
Ablakwa, I dare Kwacho Fosu. I dare President Mahama. Anyone who says that he has a letter that says that Lincoln University has written that we have withdrawn your honorary doctorate because we are not comfortable with President Mahama, so and so he has done for LGBT, against LGBT. I seek to know that letter.
I don't think it was about Mahama. It was about the national situation.
So what about the national situation?
The concern that there's been a lot of Ghanaian advocacy against LGBT in a way that Lincoln University doesn't like.
So if that is what they are saying, then they must say so. But the letter
seems to be what they said.
But the statement they wrote didn't suggest so.
Okay,
the statement of praise was not about
singular position.
Yes, the statement of praise written by Assemblies of God, written by Christian Council, written by Catholic Bishop Conference was singling him out, praising him as if he has done something extraordinary in clipping the wings of LGBT, and for which he should have sympathy for the withdrawal of the honorary doctorate. But I'm asking, what did President Mahama do in clipping the wings of LGBT? Because under his tenure, I have cited all these things with evidence. So what has he really done on LGBT? That was my first disappointment. And the reason I'm disappointed was because when he saw that 3 ecumenical bodies, very important bodies, have written in praise and in support of him, and then he thought that now I have sympathy. So let me just go and release what has been on my heart all this while. That LGBT is not even a priority. There are basic needs. And so 2 days after, he came Messias and boldly looked them in the face and said that LGBT is no longer a priority. It's not priority. There are basic needs. I'm asking Paul, between 2021 and 2024, didn't we have the kind of basic needs President Mahama outlined? The kind of food, shelter, education, health,
we did.
Jobs,
we still
roads. But he's been saying that he has done research. He says inflation is down, exchange rate is down. If his economic narrative is not artificial and it is true, doesn't that contradict his claim that he should be concerned about basic needs, and for which until basic needs are dealt with, he's not going to look at the LGBT? That is deception. But 93% and even more of our population are saying, no, we are not with you on this. For us, LGBT is still a major priority. It still remains abomination in our Bibles, it remains abomination in our Quran, remains abomination in our tradition, and therefore realign your priorities. But some of the ecumenical bodies have started coming out, and like you said, Catholic Bishop Conference, even though they wrote that letter of praise, the moment the president came out to give that shocking statement and that deceptive U-turn, they came out to put out a statement that you just read, calling out the hypocrisy and the double standards of President Mahama. That's what I'm expecting the other ecumenical bodies to do. I'm expecting Assemblies of God to do so. I'm expecting Christian Council to do so. I'm expecting GPCC to also do so. You know why? Because we made religion and LGBT a major campaign tool in the 2024 election. Many people said, oh, my pastor says we don't want a Muslim to be a president, and that it is John Mahama, who is a Christian, he should be president because we can trust him that he will sign a bill, and that was a major thing. Now, fast forward, in 2026, we have President Bassirou Faye, who is a Muslim, president in Senegal. He has signed a bill that imposes 10-year prison term.
For
10 years for LGBT. 3 times stricter than the bill we are playing with. He's a Muslim. He's not a Christian. He's a Muslim. So anyone who did politics, religious politics, anyone who did LGBT politics, and threw dust in the eyes of everybody, that a Christian leader, a Assemblies of God president will come, he will sign, he will not take it to schools, and now Assemblies of God president is president, and this is the kind of diabolical, shameful, ungodly concept he's teaching your children. And a Muslim president in Senegal has signed a bill that imposes 10-year prison term on LGBT practices. The contrast is there. So 2028, will you have the confidence to come out and say that vote against a Muslim candidate? They will come back, they will tell you right there, the moment they will get up and tell you right there that indeed we will not fall for this deception again. But Paul, you mentioned something that is very critical. You said that this can be the biggest betrayal of the Christian community. Yeah. In fact, if we don't handle these matters well, my fear is that it will be one of the scandals that will plunge the image of the Christian community into a very bad place, and to take away the respect, the salt, the light we ought to be. If our fathers don't rise up as early as possible to call out the hypocrisy of the president and to let him know how he disappointed them and how he misled them, if they don't do so, it will be difficult, and a time will come you say, praise the Lord. You won't get anybody to say hallelujah. And that would be unfortunate. But I trust my fathers, and I believe in my fathers. I know their integrity and their credibility. They will rise up to the occasion and redeem their image, and redeem that for all of us, young pastors and Christians who look up to them. Thank you.
That sounds like a sermon from the Reverend in Team for sure, doesn't it? So Ejadu, who is a regular viewer, says, I would like to say that conversations around LGBTQ issues in Ghana must be approached with honesty, clarity, and respect for all citizens. I believe John Dramani Mahama has not been consistent or transparent enough, and this has made it difficult for many Ghanaians to clearly understand his position. As a nation, we must ensure that discussions like these carefully balance our cultural values, human rights, and wider social and economic impact. Open, honest, and respectful dialogue is the only way forward. That's from Ejadu. Let me go to the text messages. And Fatih, what are people saying?
All right. Thank you, Paul. So coming from Yao February says the Speaker of Parliament said he is ready to assist in the passage of the anti-LGBTQ bill. So why, under his supervision, the bill is not given priority in Parliament for its passage? And President Mahama, who said his government is going to treat the bill as a government-sponsored bill, is now also saying the anti-LGBTQ bill is not part of his government's priority. Ohene Ampede says, if Honorable Brian the Champion's lawful and fair acquisition of Snit Hotel shares was labeled as state capture, then President Mahama's handing out Ghana's Damang mine to his brother Ibrahim Mahama is nothing but state capture pro max. Ryan says, for those of us who never believed John Mahama, this is not a surprise to us. For those who believed in him, did so at their own peril. It was a propaganda message for the NDC from the get-go. Come to think of it, Honorable Sam George said that all he did was for his party to come to power. He even told Paul that for him, the NDC comes first before Ghana. Yeboah Ampofo says hypocrisy and dishonesty is the very fiber that's killing Ghanaians, so-called pastors. And one thing they should know is that the very God they claim they worship is watching them if really they have shame in their eyes. What do you have first of all?
All right, thank you, Fatih. So there seems to be a lot of conversations happening in the comment section about whether or not people agree with the bill. Nana Ajuman says, JDM is really a deceptive leader and he has really disappointed some of us Christians. As Seydou Alai said, prosperity will be the best judge for Nana Bao and Baomia. Theophilus says, good evening, Apostle Paul. The NDC lied their way to power and now they are facing the consequences. For His Excellency, the President, to say that LGBTQI is not a priority shows we are doomed as a country. In the previous administration, Nanado was labeled as a tyrant and were made to believe that he was the one preventing the passage of the LGBTQI bill. Ghanaians now know who the real tyrant is. Prosperity will judge us all. Yeboah Ampofo said, those who helped Mahama most to win power were the nurses, teachers. Now you see your smoothness level to a point that allowance has come out, but they will not vote, all based on the sweet talk and disease that they received from Mahama during the campaign. The deer will be tied in the bush, so as the hunter. And lastly, from Ryan Salih, he says that for those of us who never believed Mahama, this is definitely not a surprise. He has been a liar from the onset, and we saw this coming from get-go. Over to you, Kia.
So I have two messages. Emmanuel Danso says, I'm totally disappointed in President Mahama. Baumia, forgive me for I did not vote for you. NDC has deceived the whole country, and this is coming from Bright Yeboah. Over to you, Paul.
Yeah, so Paul, I'm getting a statement that is purporting to be coming from one of the very respected fathers of the land, the presiding bishop of the Methodist Church, and this one.
Can you read it for us?
Yes, it says that he's appalled at the communication coming from the presidency and the ones that the Joy News. He is quoting from Joy News, so he's wrong if Joy News item is wrong. And so the government, the Minister for Government Communications, Felix Kwatiofosu, has stated that issues relating to LGBT plus rights are not a major priority for Ghanaians, stressing that the government remains focused on key socio-economic concerns. Really? So which Ghanaian is this minister referring to here? In any case, did we miss a poll on this matter? If you have softened your stance on this issue, just tell us. Don't belittle everyone's intelligence. And please, be serious. And I think this is a very good statement coming from a father, very respected man who does not change. He is not NDC, he's not MPP, but he has been very consistent where he stands. And so if the president is shifting, he's one of those who are also speaking up. I know many of them have also indicated that they would like to speak, but at the moment, some of them spoke in the capacity of previous certain positions they held, and they are no longer holding it. But I'm sure their personal positions have also
like Opoko, you know?
Yes, some of them were maybe general secretary or of a communicable body, or chairman, or presiding bishop, or general superintendent, but they no longer hold such positions. But their successors must speak up, and they themselves, if for personal integrity, when occasion demands, they could chip in personal statements to also set their personal positions right. But the clergy, the imams, the civil society organizations, traditional rulers must speak up on this matter. Let us demand what has been promised, Let us save our country and ensure we rid it of these diabolical, demonic infiltrations.
That's very interesting. Okay, I have to leave it here. We'll do that same side story on Thursday because it's past 11 o'clock. It's 7 minutes past 11. There's a great rendition of the protest against President Mahama and the NDC's massive U-turn on the LGBTQ issue. Reverend Timford delivering almost a sermon. Very, very heavy bullets dropping in there. I'm sure you check our social media page. We'll edit short videos for you to have a different flavor of what happened tonight. That's it for Good Evening Ghana at 7 minutes past 11 o'clock in the night. Thank you very much for staying with us. Good night.
When the contractors get paid, they go and buy a Land Cruiser for themselves. Car dealers also benefit. And even the spouses, the wives, and the side chicks also benefit. Because when they are paid and they get something, they give their wives and side chicks, you know, some of the money. And that's an important avenue because you know where that one too goes. When the spouses and the side chicks too get, hairdressers get, dressmakers get, jewelry shops get, handbag sellers get. So don't discount that one at all.